Hello everyone, welcome to the Legendary Garage Sale Find video. In this episode, we're going over a pretty epic vintage video game haul that I picked up just the other weekend. But before we get to what I picked up, I want to give my 2 cents about early birding garage sales and estate sales. For those of you not familiar with what that means, it essentially means arriving early before a sale is stated to begin by the seller. So I want to talk about this briefly because I wouldn't have scored these awesome video games if I hadn't early birded this particular sale. So this sale was stated to begin at 7 on a Saturday, a time I knew I couldn't make because I had to be at a school function at 7 that morning. So I decided maybe if I go at 6:30, they'll let me look, if not possibly buy something before I had to run. So on this morning, I arrived at 6:30. It was still pretty dark out, but I could see people were setting up underneath the carport. And as I approached, a lady called out saying, our sale begins at 7. So thinking that meant she wanted me to wait till 7, I started to turn around and walk back to my car, but I called out and said, what electronics and video games will be sold at 7? And she said, well, those are out here, so you can come take a look at them. So at this particular case, I was given permission to approach. Sometimes, not all the time, people will just say, we would like you to come back at 7 because we want everything out before people show up. But this particularly was gracious enough to let me come look. So when I walked up, I did see 2 boxes. The first box had a dusty fat PS2 in it, and it had a lot of video games underneath. And the next box was full of NES cartridges. So without even testing anything or looking at the titles of any of the games, I just made an offer and see what would happen. The lady was a little hesitant, but she did call up her husband and they talked for a little while, and they wanted actually a little bit more money, which I was totally okay with given that they were at least thinking about my offer. Basically, I wanted to do this not just because I had a limited amount of time, because I knew at any time another possible video game hunter might come out to look and maybe even make a bigger offer. So luckily they accepted my offer. I managed to get those 2 boxes plus a little collection of anime. I'm going to go over here too in just 1 second. And it really turned out to be an amazing find. I turned these boxes into this right here. So we're gonna go over what I picked up right now. Okay, everybody, so here's everything I picked up at that wonderful garage sale. As you can see, there are NES games, Super NES games, N64, a few boxed NES games, and a few PS2 games. So back here we have on the PS2 Evergrace, Ratchet & Clank, SpongeBob. NES boxed games include Pictionary, The Adventures of Lolo, I think is how you pronounce that, and Bases Loaded. Here is that PS2 after I cleaned it up. It does work, which I was pleasantly surprised because it was really dirty, but the lady and her husband, they guaranteed me it did work. That's why they'd asked for a little bit more money. So I'm going to do a quick little pan over all of the NES cartridges. There are just so many, and I even have a few doubles of a few, as you'll see here. But I kind of wish I had done a little reveal of the NES cartridges because each one I pulled from the box, I hadn't really looked at the titles, so I was kind of holding my breath in case I found my NES Holy Grail, Godzilla 2. Back here we have one of the DualShocks that came with the PS2, and here's the anime I was telling you about. It's Serial Experiments Lain. Got 4 volumes of that, and so those 4 actually go for pretty good money. These blue controllers I thought were DualShocks, but unfortunately are some knockoffs, but they still do work. I haven't been able to test out this Game Genie, but I don't believe it works, but I haven't tried it out yet. I wasn't quite sure about these cartridges when I saw it, but I didn't realize that NES cartridges came in black. But here we have RBI Baseball. And out front we have Bandai's Bazooka Blitzkrieg on Super NES. I believe this is pronounced Drakahen and Populous. On N64 we have NFL Blitz, Extreme G2. I was often a fan of the first Extreme G, so I actually might keep that one. Now, other 2 games that were kind of surprising were the Friday the 13th game I never knew they made this on the NES, but I've tried it out. Very interesting game, but it goes for a little bit of money. And another Bubble Bobble. Now, unfortunately, it's not the second one. That's one of the most desirable NES games ever, but I was still happy when I saw this particular game and in pretty good condition. So, going back over all these, I can finally give you the grand total of how much I spent. I spent a little bit over 200 on this lot. You can let me know in the comments if you think that was a good deal or not, given that I was there a little bit early and trying to seal a deal quickly, and the people wanted a little more money than my original offer, so I decided to go with it. Do I think I have more than $200 in value here? I definitely believe I do, given that I've been wanting one of these fat PS2s for a while, but I haven't guaranteed if I'm going to keep it. I do have a slim PS2, but everything is working pretty good on this fat PS2, so we'll see. But given the value of everything else, I do believe I can recoup my money and still make a profit on this particular pickup. So there you have it, everybody. I hope you like this content and my story about this particular video game pickup. If you please like and subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, thanks for watching.